So today we are going to go through the second part of the REI types of deals and what they do. We came up with a program. Mike Weiland, can you tell everybody when you sent us over those 5 deals the other day, how did you search for them in the MLS? You're breaking up, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll take over. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. So has everybody been able to look at the new form on the website?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody that hasn't seen it? If it is, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and go through it and show it to you. We're gonna talk about the rest of these things, but what happens is when you do an MLS search, you can do a keyword search like investor special, handyman special, handyman, investor. When you go into your MLS and you look for active listings that have that on there, those are perfect ones to give the seller a call, give the agent a call, the seller, however it happens to be, and find out the specifics on the home, and let's see if we can work something out. And especially on expireds and canceled, because you can do that same search for expireds and canceled. You can do some bird dogging, and I think the point of the bird dogging is there anybody that doesn't need to make more money? Is there anybody that's at a point where they can take less money for anything they do? It's kind of a dumb question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And by the way, it's coming from a dumb guy too, by the way. But so if you go, you don't even have to be logged in. If you go into submit an REI form, down here under the agents, submit an REI form, you hit enter, you put your information up on top, and then, if you don't know what type of form this is, go ahead and just click easy listing. We'll know it from there. Quality of lead, you can put down whether it's hot, medium, or they're confused with what you're trying to say. If you're trying to sell somebody a novation and they don't understand what it is, the whole idea behind this is for you not to confuse a consumer. The whole idea behind this is load it into the system and then let our professionals go and work out the deal with you. And then we will cut you in on the profit of that deal. Okay. So these leads that we're getting from Jeff and Scott out of the gate, I'm making phone calls. And if I find they're like an investor special, or if they are a handyman special, we're going to take those and put those into here first and call and see if we can work before we give them to you. We're going to call and find out if we can do a cash out, a novation, fix and flip, wholesale, Sub2, wholetail, all these things to help you and the seller make more money. Are there any questions on that?
So how does that work if it's on market deals? As far as the conversation. So we're having a conversation with the agent, and then you'll have a conversation with the seller and the agent?
Yeah, if you're talking to an agent, the best thing to do is just turn them over to us and put your name down and let us talk to the agent. Because it would take somebody unlicensed to talk to them. And the beautiful thing, Adam doesn't have a license, so he can actually work and negotiate with them. Does that answer your question?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, you don't want to be crossing over a seller if it's already listed, right? We can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand. How does that work with, those that are licensed?
Yep. So we turn it over to Adam and let Adam do his magic on it. And by the way you turn it over to Adam is fill this out. All right. So we got the seller's name, email, phone number, address of the property, whether it's a house, condo, multifamily, bedrooms, bathrooms, everything you should be accustomed to. An important part for Adam and I to decide on to the minimum asking price and also the current as is value. And then everybody should start getting used to the word ARV, that's after repaired value. So if we're going to do a novation, we're going to come in and put $5,000 into the home. Let's say the home is worth $300,000. And then the one novation I think that Michael Weiland is going to be doing, we figure we're going to be putting $5,000 to $10,000 in it. It's going to take it from a 290 valuation probably to a 320 valuation. So we'll basically double the money by doing that. So you want to fill these out as well as you can. Occupancy, you want to find out whether it's vacant tenant or owner, best time to contact the seller. If there's any documents that you have, whether if they're in foreclosure, maybe the seller gave you a copy of the foreclosure notice, or maybe you did a little evaluation. And Joy, I know she's got a notebook that she's sending out to all the agents where you have questions. You can actually submit that into here as well. The photos that you take when you go out and look at a property, take a picture of the carpeting, the kitchen, the HVAC unit, and the roof if you can get it, and upload those pictures into it. That'll help us make a file. If were to be something that you find in Zillow, hit the yes button on here, and then additional links, just copy and paste that link into there. That way Adam can go into it and take a look at Zillow's pictures even. And then a property and seller situation. Here's the one that I want to make sure everybody understands. So when we talk about a fix and flip, we use a 70-30 rule, right? So that means if property is worth $400,000, we're going to offer them 70%, and then we're going to take an additional 30% off to fix it, if depending on how much money we got to put in it. Down it. And let's say that home that you sent in doesn't meet the criteria. I love this question, and because why do you think that we should go after this? Who does it benefit? How can we make this thing work? But give us your honest opinion of why you think we should take it. Okay? And then the additional information, we're there. So that's on the site. You don't even have to log in to use it. Are there any questions on that form that you can fill out? Again, we will partner up with you for those that you guys are going out and bird dogging with us. Vice versa, the leads that we are getting that we can convert, that we're sending to you, we will be sending you leads off of all of this stuff as well. Any questions on that? Okay. So Adam, I'm gonna get the sheet going. Okay, so last week when we left off, we were talking about novations. And is Frank Macri aboard?
Yes.
Hey, Frank's there. So we ended up with a little bit of a disagreement. Like there's a lot more to the novation than meets the eye. And that's where I come back to you guys. Let the professionals get the contract and all the fine stuff done for you. It makes your life simple. It makes it easier to go out and get more listings. And so that's one of the things that we are doing for you. By the time we give you a novation, the contract, the power of attorney, all that stuff's done. So all the contracts done, and these guys are. Adam, how many novations have you done in your career?
About 150.
How many times you been sued?
0.
Okay.
Or threatened.
Pretty good odds. Just so everybody knows, as a company, 6 months ago, I bumped up our insurance to cover anything that could happen, misrepresentation. The idea of doing these trainings is so that we don't misrepresent anything that we're doing. And if it is something that you don't feel comfortable with talking about, let us do the yapping in the contract for you. Right? Because if you found the deal, we're going to pay you more. But if you don't understand the deal, you'll understand it a lot more when you see the actual contract and the power of attorney. So don't get lost in the and I even called Frank up after the meeting and said, hey, there's like leftover cereal on the counter. We had to talk about this. So anyways, but I assure you that these guys that are coming in and doing this, there's been some people that Greg Bilbro has talked to that have done 2,000 or 3,000 of these novations. So anyway, so Adam's going back on, and he's going to start at the Subject-To offers. And Adam, if you wouldn't mind, as you're explaining what it is, explain what we provide to them so that there's no confusion about these Subject-Tos. It seems like the Subject-Tos are picking up again, where a lot of sellers seem to be taking that versus other aspects. So Have a way, buddy. Let me know when you want me to move slides.
All right, sounds good. All right, so on a subject-to property, this is one that would, ideally be in decent condition as well. It could have updates needed, obviously. What we are looking for is a homeowner who says to you, I just want to walk away. I just need to move. I don't want to have any hassle doing that. There might not be even enough spread in the deal for traditional agent fees, etc. This is one where like homeowners have a 2-3% interest rate would be very appealing to a lot of renter buyers. We would need the same information on one of these as we would any other property that we would underwrite, with the addition of knowing what the PITI is, the payment, the interest, the taxes, of the property. So that's the main thing over there. They're pretty popular right now. Done a whole bunch of those transactions as well. So yeah, just if you know the rate and the seller is willing to negotiate, we can work that out. There was all kinds of ways that we can play with that, and I don't want to get too into the weeds with the whole process, but if you have one, just put it on that form and we can work it out.
Are there any questions on subject twos?
Yes, Adam,
Yes, sir.
on a subject-to, the seller keeps the home in their name. And
So excellent question. There's various ways to structure those. There are some people who even go as far as to create a land trust on the property. So again, there's various ways to structure them. And there's, without getting too into the weeds, what we don't want to trigger is what's called a due on sale clause,
right,
right? Where the mortgage company, because then the whole thing's dead. So we execute that pretty carefully.
right. And the main thing here is to keep in place that 3% interest rate on that payment.
Exactly. And a lot of times when there's equity, as an example, we get the owner paid up their equity at closing.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, if I,
Sure.
Christian Faust, if I could chime in. Yeah, I agree with you, Adam. Definitely, I think a trust is definitely a better way to go because you don't want to trigger the bank to question what's going on with it. And generally what I do is we form a land trust and we call it the name of the land trust and sometimes use the owner's last name. So if the owner's name is Smith and they live at 123 Main Street, we call it the 123 Main Street Smith Revocable Trust or Living Trust, but you definitely would want to consult, and Adam sure works with attorneys who have done all his documents. So yeah, I would say that's important. And also the second part of it, the other way that you really got to be careful is the insurance, making sure that you structure the insurance properly.
Excellent.
Yep. Thank you, Christian.
Good stuff. All right. Wholesaling, Adam?
These are, wholesaling basically means, that an investor or somebody goes under contract to purchase a property and they sell that property, or they sell their contract for a higher amount than they're under contract for. So it's an A/B transaction. So basically, the investor will go under contract for, let's say, $50,000 on a property. They will market that contract to a flipper end user, and they will make the spread of what they buy the property for versus what they can sell the contract for to the end buyer. This is one of the things I do the most besides Novations. We're typically looking for properties that we can get under contract. They can have as many repairs as needed, but generally nationwide looking at a ratio of buying it 70 cents on the dollar minus the repairs necessary for the property. When you're dealing with this, with a wholesale as well, you would consider what the wholesaler's fee would be, usually as low as $10,000 is. I've made wholesales, I've made $100,000. So it really depends on what the owner's situation is, what they're looking to accomplish, and speed is the name of the game on this type of property.
Any questions on wholesaling?
Yes, we use that same form, correct? For any of these?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question is, I have buyers for wholesale properties too.
Uh-huh.
And this is a scenario. I submit the form to you guys. You guys are working on it and everything. one of my buyers pick it up and say, I want to purchase this. The agreement is in place that we still split the difference, correct? Even if one of
So
my buyers buy it.
got it. So in that scenario, I mean, we'd have to talk about that. You know, I don't think we anticipated that scenario in putting this out, but we can, do a joint venture as an exclusive or non-exclusive. So I guess we can absolutely work that out.
Yeah, a lot of the things when we talk about compensating you guys, we're in the middle of talking about that right now. So we'll be unveiling a plan, not next week, but the following Thursday. We'll be unveiling what exactly you can expect when you bird dog a deal for us.
Got
But
it.
if you get something in the meantime, of course, we'll figure it out together.
Great. Great.
The one of the things that I want to bring up, and this, Greg and Paul had a meeting with an interim finance guys. The back 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I bought into a program called Lee Arnold System, and they were fix and flippers. They taught you how to wholesale. They taught you nothing about novations, nothing about some of the stuff that Adam brings. But I know a lot of the wholesale deals that we're going through. I used to be a part of a mastermind group, and Greg and Paul had talked to this interim financiers. One of the biggest problems that they were having, I never had the problem because I didn't do any wholesaling, but let's say that you negotiated a home for $250,000, then you found an end user to pay you $400,000, and when they were trying to go to do an A to B closing, the sellers were calling them saying, "Hey, what the hell? You're making another $150,000. I'm not going to sign that deal. That means my house was worth that." So these guys, and I don't know how long, we do have a guy that will probably be bringing in as a vendor partner, but we do have a guy, when you get into something, if you don't want to deal with the seller and the seller to know what you're making, you can use these guys. They'll do a 48 to 60 hour closing. They'll let you go A to B, which means that the seller will sell you the house at the price you negotiated, and then they'll do what's called a simultaneous close. Sometimes it can happen the same day. Some states make you wait a day, but then it'll close from you to that wholesaler, and you make the money through escrow, just like a normal real estate transaction. So that is available too if you get huge spreads. And for guys like Adam that are good enough to talk their way around it and take care of it's one way. But if you're not comfortable with it, that option will be available to you. Adam, have you ever had to use the interim financing?
I've investigated it a few times, but I, like you said, I always work my way out of that trouble.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's definitely. I know a lot of people who use it, and it just protects the relationship with the seller, and it also protects the relationship with the buyer.
It was a really good
Exactly.
tool back in the day for, if I recall correctly, short sales, because short banks don't like wholesalers. And
No.
so you can't make an offer. You just can't do it. So you had to close because you had a bank and other people, and there was like the perfect tool, transactional funding, overnight, double close, 24-hour stuff.
Yep.
There you go.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Okay, as far as the wholesale, within the contracts, do you guys accept contracts that says the EMD is non-refundable?
Do we accept those type of contract? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where the EMD is non-refundable, which means once you put your earnest money in there to purchase the property, if you don't purchase, of course, they give you a chance to inspect the property or what have you. So if the deal is if you don't purchase, then they keep the EMD.
Yeah. We would vet those properties before we go under contract. If the seller was looking for that kind of deposit, we would do all that underwriting, etc., before we went under contract. Wouldn't just walk in.
Okay.
Wouldn't walk in totally blind. We'd protect ourselves.
Right, but what about the inspection process? Whereas, it costs this much to rehab the property, but let's say, who do you get to inspect the property before you buy? Is it
Us?
So
is it-
you guys either as a realtor, right? Or we're gonna hire an inspection company who does these inspections for, the mortgage companies.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. Okay. And if it already has its own inspection that comes with it, are you guys good with that?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
we would
from-
use
from
that.
a,
We would
uh,
use
from
that.
a-
Yeah, we would.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course we would.
Okay. Okay.
As long as it's a licensed, licensed inspector, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. The reason why I asked that is because, I get a lot of properties from like New Western and companies like that do the wholesale thing. And I don't know if you buy from them, but in their contract, they have what is called a non-refundable EMD.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, likely with New Western, we wouldn't really come. New Western is typically working with another wholesaler in their capacity in the first place.
Oh, okay.
So it's not actually their contract.
Oh,
So that's why they're coming to the market looking for the end buyer. I'm not saying those deals wouldn't necessarily work, but they'd be fewer and likely with an outfit like New Western.
uh-huh. I mean, I guess my question is, do you buy from them?
Oh, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, when the deal's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
If it,
because
when it's
I've seen
priced,
some good,
if the
some
deals,
great deals.
if the deals are priced right, absolutely.
Okay, great. Now, also, what's your minimum and maximum source price range?
So I would say it's truly market dependent, right? We
Mhm.
never I would say once you start getting, like, I would say the exceptions are, like, let's say California and Seattle. Once you start getting there, we even there we don't want to be really above $1.5 million for something we're going to hard close on, just because obviously money costs a lot more there. When you're, looking generally around the country, the buy box, really is anywhere from like 175 all the way up to, 750 in a normal market.
750. Okay, well, California, we're
Oh,
like
I say California up to 1.5.
1.5 up to capital. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can add something to that. I've got buyers
sir.
that will do anything. I mean, I've got buyers that'll do $5 and $10 million flips, scrape and custom spec rebuild, spec builds. I've got guys that'll take down a bunch of acres, and parcel
Wow.
out, and builders. They're just builders. It's not, fancy. I've got builder friends, but that also wholesale on the side. When I was
Yeah.
their digital marketer, I was their lead gen guy. And I met a lot of interesting investors that do all kinds of things. So I've got RV park guys that do RV parks and, all kinds of interesting stuff, condo redevelopments and conversions from apartments to whatever. So like, if there's a deal there, the first, one of the things I learned when I was learning the business is you don't ever need money. If the deal is good enough, the money finds you. And so if there is a deal there, Adam's got a buy box and he needs to stick to his buy box. And there's also reasons why you want to stay below 1.5 because it just gets crazy above that with risk.
Uh-huh.
But if there's a $5 million house, I worked on a $4 million house or something about a year ago that was worth probably 6 and it needed
Right.
1 million. So we could buy it
Mhm.
for 4, put in the million and sell it for 6. And we didn't do the deal because it just was not good and the market was getting soft. But like that was close. We were close. Like if we'd have gotten anything for 3, we'd have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so when submitting a deal, can I send my analysis with that deal so you can like kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at, or do you guys do the analysis yourself?
The answer to that is both. I mean, we're underwriting this, from a desktop, right? You guys have the ground experience and know that market better than anybody intimately. So we rely on your data as well.
Okay, good, good. Because I can send some data in with that
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a certified real estate appraiser as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool.
So I kind of know value. I can estimate value fairly. I mean, I've done it for banks. I mean, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all the top banks. I've been an appraiser for like 15, 20 years. So if I see a deal, and I know this is a deal. And so I would probably send it in with a kind of an analysis of my opinion, give you guys a little more information to make a decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this. What is your turn time as far as, okay, sent the information in, you looked at it, how, uh-huh,
One day.
what is
Promise a 24-hour turn
Yeah.
time.
We're aiming
24 hours?
for we're aiming for 24 hours.
Monday
Okay.
through Friday, though. If you'd send something in on Friday, probably not going to get an answer until Monday.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
but
we
just
just
to give
fill
you
it
an
out on
idea, like
that
we
form.
we take those opportunities very seriously, and we know that time kills all deals, obviously.
Mhm.
So we're gunning to get the answer, get you guys something right back, so that way you can stay in communication with the seller. And if we need additional clarification to see if we can make something work, we're going to get right back with you guys. It's not just sitting there in
Mhm.
an inbox. We're on it right away.
Okay. Sure. All right. Well, thank you. That was my question.
Sure.
So, Adam, the only other one that we don't have is the wholetail.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to explain to them what whole? That's with the
Well,
TA.
there's two. It really Wholesale is really gone two ways. I've done Wholesale, and that's what you call a very, very light rehab that you close on. And I'm really talking like carpet paint clean out and throw it right back on the market. So they call it kind of it's called Wholesale because it's a combination of a wholesale and a retail property. One that you see can easily be fixed and turned around, put back on the market within 2 weeks, not a full extensive renovation. The same numbers would typically apply, the 70-30, 70% of the ARV minus the repairs would, it's the same thing. The other brand of that is a SubTail. And a SubTail is cool because what we do on those properties is we take over the homeowner's mortgage for the time that we're working on the property and getting it listed. That's what we do with those. So we would, it's
And what's
kind of
that
a
called?
SubTail, like a Sub2, and yeah.
Hey Adam, with that, when you do those, do you actually go through and execute a sub-2 document just like as you would if you were purchasing a subject-to? No.
No,
Okay.
because it's too costly to do all
That's what I
that.
was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too costly to do that. What we do is we file a memorandum on the property,
Yep.
and
Okay.
we have a very good contract in place for those. So obviously, that
Got it. You
the
file a memorandum
and out
or an affidavit. Okay. And
and
basically
and
cloud and title letting them know. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because I
yeah.
have this. I have a property that I'm doing a novation agreement on. I met with them to try to see if they just want to sell it as is. It needs a repipe because in Florida we have the I forget how to pronounce it, but the polypropylene, these pipes that no longer are insurable.
Uh-huh.
And so I found that out. So I'm in a situation. He's like, I don't want to invest. I don't want to invest in it, and it would be hard to sell it because the house is uninsurable with these pipes in it. They won't underwrite it. So I'm in a situation where I'm thinking what you said, like do a novation agreement, file a memorandum because the repipe's about almost $8,000.
Mm-hmm.
So so when you're investing that's what you do to protect it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Fascinating stuff.
So the point of all this was, again, like I said last week, guys, I'm not looking to, overload anybody with the fine details. I'm happy to, overload you at a separate time. The main thing is get the form in and we can figure out the best way to monetize these properties. So that way you guys aren't leaving any money on the table. Whether it's creative or novation or a cash deal or a fix and flip.
And I want to come back to the core mission of Easy Real Estate Platform. It's to make you guys the most amount of money. Remember, we're taking real estate, putting it back in your pockets, right? By offering all of these solutions, we are a full one-stop shop brokerage that you can offer your sellers many ways for them to make more money. When we can come in and tell the seller that we truly care about their situation, that we have other ways where we think they can make some more money, you're going to walk out there with a listing, signed agreement, worst case scenario, with not charging my commission. But all of these things that this is all going to be documented and put into a kind of a book type deal to make it easy for you guys. That when can you offer this? When can you? When you're out talking to a seller, so that we make sure that we understand. It's all about representation and doing the right thing for everybody. I'm not looking to take a 90-year-old person's investment and make all the money myself. I am looking to maximize the price for that seller so that they can go on with the rest of their life or pass the money on to the kids, do whatever they want to do. It's all about representation to your sellers. That's why we're unveiling this. That's why we brought these people on, is to make us a one-stop shop for sellers. Anything that we talk about, there are so many tools that we have now that you can offer your sellers. There's no reason for you not to get a listing. And we'll be talking about probate here in the next couple months, but not knowing one thing about probate. If you were, let's just say you want to start working probate deals and you want to start going to attorneys and working out with probate attorneys, I guarantee you, not knowing a thing about probate, if you walk in and tell that attorney that, you know what, I will sell your clients' homes and not charge them a commission, yet give them full real estate services, that attorney is going to recommend you over anybody else. Any single thing that you want to do for listings, when you are telling the seller they're not going to pay the commissions, you've got the leg up to walk out of there with that listing. So that being said, I'll open up the floor to questions. To anybody want to put in their 2 cents about how they see this can help their business. So we'll open it up here for the next 10 minutes with questions and answers and responses. The floor is yours.
Is Michele still here? No.
Yeah, she's here.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi,
Here.
hi, Michele. Is it you or Kat that I need help with the hyperlinks to put on my website I'm building, and also the QR codes? I just need some help on QR codes for my marketing materials, print hard copy, marketing materials, and
There's the QR code
hyperlink.
that's right on that Easy Explainer.
huh?
The Easy Explainer has a QR code. You can grab it right from there.
Right. Well, the QR code it's better if you saw my website, because each of the services that my website is literally just patterned after yours.
Kenneth, I can help you with your QR codes.
Okay.
I was going to say, are you trying to customize your QR code so you can, whatever link you want to attach to a QR code, you can swap it into a marketing template?
For QR code, it says 0% listing. I put it on a flyer or postcard, right? That QR
Right.
code should go directly to the page in easy platform, right?
By default, it'll take, if you don't change the QR code on our marketing material, it will just go to the Easy Real Estate Platform website. But if you want to learn how to customize QR codes, you can do it right within the Canva template. There's a 50-minute Canva Made Easy course that we have. I just dropped a link to it in the description. It's free, but a big chunk of that is about customizing QR codes. And it's really easy once you're in Canva. You can use a third-party application to create QR codes and swap it out, but Canva has a native app that they built themselves where you just put the URL that you want a QR code to link to. It creates the QR code for you, and you can drop it right in the template that you want to use in your marketing materials. Swap it right out.
Oh,
So
okay.
really easy to do. As far
Okay.
as websites, I don't recommend using QR codes on websites because most people won't have a way to scan it on the go. So,
No, only on my marketing materials. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
You can also create a free dynamic QR code as well, which I use for all my marketing. So anytime I have a listing, I can just change up the site that it's linked to, and I can use the same card over and over.
There's a free company that, well, there's paid versions and there's a free version. Me-QR is a company that does the dynamic codes. I don't know if Quinn, if you have a different preference that you use. But
I just
code
found one.
is
I think it's like Tiger something. I can't remember, but they give you one free one, and so that one works really well for me.
So
You know,
Me QR code, it'll be free, but they might show display ads when someone's like scanning the code just to make their advertiser money, or you can pay for it to be free. It's like a couple bucks a month.
Yeah.
But by dynamic, guys, dynamic means you can change and it updates automatically. So you don't need to go and recreate your print marketing materials that you've already printed. It will just, when that code is scanned on the back end, these third-party apps will redirect the person scanning to the new place you want that QR code to take them. So you won't waste your printer ink or whatever you spent getting a company to print stuff for you just because you want to change where the QR code goes to.
This is good stuff. I love it.
Can you put that in the chat? I'm sorry, I'm on the phone with my doctor, but could you put that in the chat, please?
Yeah, I'm going to share a tutorial I did a long time ago on YouTube. So I look very different, but it's all about QR code tracking and dynamic QR code. Share it in the Facebook group and show notes too on replay.
Thank you.
Michele, did I see in a chat earlier you got a listing?
Yes, sir. This Saturday I got a listing agreement and easy addendum signed. I'm waiting on the owner to finish doing the rehab, and then we're planning on doing that June 5th. Really excited to get this one done. I know that once I get this first one going, it's really going to be up from there. And I'm really excited to hear what we have to do with probate, because that's originally what I wanted to, the space I really wanted to get into. So very excited about that.
Right on. Anybody else have some wins they want to talk about? Losses? Wins, losses? Whew, we're an easy group today. All right. If nobody else has anything, that will end up 10 minutes earlier. But anyways, getting exciting. Mike Weiland, we just picked up a lead in Minnesota. So I will make that phone call, vet it for you, and then be sending that over to you. Does everybody understand with these leads, when we send them out to you, that you have a responsibility once you reach the seller and you make contact and you've got a listing appointment? Simply just let Jeff know in an email so he can put that in his sheet and track it. And then he'll help, when you find out what you're doing, whether it was you were successful or you weren't successful, that needs to be another email. The whole idea is to help you guys, close 99% of these. And if for some reason you don't, we want to talk to you about why. Maybe there was something we can help you with, or maybe not. So anyways, but those leads she started making phone calls yesterday for 3 hours, today for 3 hours. Her father died, so she's got limited time, but next week she'll be moved back into more of a full-time thing. But she's yesterday 14 leads. Today I've seen 6 so far come out. She's just randomly dialing areas, so expect something to come your way hopefully soon. Is everybody excited about that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And remember, she calls and does the preliminary part of it. Then somebody from our company, right now it's me, makes that second phone call before we ever pass them to you. So by the time we get them to you, they should be ready. Just go out and do the listing appointment and sign them up.
Fantastic.
Hey, Robert. These aren't Zillow leads. It's like $17,000 for 5 leads that you won't close. That's awesome. So, all right. Anyways, anybody else have anything they want to say? It's great to see this many people participating. Keep it up next week. We're going to have a preferred lender on that's willing to pay you guys if you want to use them. He's also got some stuff for the real estate investment people that might help as well. So next Thursday will be a lender talking about all their programs. All right.
All right, everybody, have a good day.
Great, thanks.
All right. See everybody. Thank
All
you.
right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Easy Real Estate Platforms Topic Thursdays. We hope to see you again next week, and make sure you check out our Facebook groups. The links are in the description.